Tweedie.
Yes.
You were labelled the sexiest Australian in the world by Shaquille O'Neal.
And that's all I've got time for.
You've had a wide-ranging career in media spanning the children's show Prank Patrol.
Teen show, right? Children's is a stretch.
Okay. Teen show Prank Patrol. Australian Idol. E-News. Interviewing A-list celebrities such as Katy Perry, Ed Sheeran, Tom Cruise, and a lot more across the US and Australia. It's been a career filled with twists, turns, rebirths, and I can only imagine a lot of highs and lows. But I want to go back to the beginning when you made the switch from your business degree and a path into banking and followed your heart to pivot into media in around 2007, 2008.
Yes.
Am I about right on that?
Yeah.
And specifically the internal checklists, audits of your skill sets, financial runway, and just gut check that told you it was time to do something different.
It was that. It's that passion and that gut check. And I think it was in my fourth year of uni. No, it was third year of uni. I'm looking around the lecture. And because like I was surrounded by friends that had like very successful parents in finance and like lawyers and this and that. My parents were successful in their own right, but they weren't on that level, which, you know, now I'm older and wiser. I just love the path that my parents sent me down. But I was hungry to be like investment banker, big house, boat, this and that. And it just doesn't matter. So I couldn't lie to myself anymore than like in that lecture looking around and going, I don't have the drive. I don't have the fire for this. And I'm a go-getter. Like I've always like found things I want to do and just gone for it and figured out a way. So in that, I still in my degree, but I found that there was a job going at Nova Radio. And at the time, Nova in Brisbane was only a few years old, super successful, like #1 by a country mile. They throw the coolest parties. Their GM and all the staff in Nova were legends. So I got a job there, and then I realized that like I was very bottom, like making coffees for the staff, driving around their promotional cars, giving out cans of Coke. And I just realized that like there's this whole other world of media, but you've got to put the time and effort into it. So a guy in the street team, it's part of the promo team, he worked at a travel show on Channel 7 on like, you know, a couple of days a week. And I was like, how can I get to do that? Like that's my dream was getaway. Like how are you doing it? And he goes, listen, there's no method to this madness, but if you go out and start filming and just start creating, if you make a show reel, which is like 1 minute to 2 minutes long and you're good enough, you'll get a job. And so I took that seriously. And then in my spare time, I used my Nova email address, would go to like the local cinemas, go to Dreamworld, theme parks, and just do pieces to camera as if I was hosting a TV show, but it was for nothing except getting experience. And then in that time, I was doing that for about 6 months. And then I also realized I was getting paid hourly at Nova. And the more hours I spent on like editing or doing stuff for them, the more money I'd make as well. And then I was like, well, hang on. There's like in the summertime, there was like 20 music festivals. I was like, can I take the radio hosts to the festivals and we'll film them interviewing artists? And they're like, sure. And then they only want to interview the headliners. And I was like, well, what about all the other bands? And they're like, nah, we don't care. And I was like, well, can I do it? And they're like, yeah. So then I was like 6. So I told 3 of my friends, I'm like, hey, do you want a free ticket to a festival? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, AAA passes? They're like, yeah. I'm like, give me an hour each. You're the cameraman. You're the sound guy. You're the producer. We'll roll in. We'll get to interview these artists.
Band.
Yeah, so we're hanging out with these bands and interviewing them, and then we're done and we go and party. So that was just like organically building experience. And then, you know, how the universe works. I was listening to Triple J, and they're like, there's a brand new kids channel coming out called ABC3. It's going to be like a Nickelodeon, free to wear. We need hosts for like 10 shows. If you want to be a host, we're doing a casting call right now. At the time, though, I was so deep into Nova that I was looking at MTV and Channel V because I loved music. And I was like, I want to be a music show host, a MTV VJ. So I was like, kids show. I was like, hell no, like play school? Nah, not for me. And then everyone else in the street team was putting in audition tapes, and I was watching theirs. And I was like, I think I can do a better tape than all those guys. But I'm going to have to like stay true to who I am. I don't want to make myself like a kiddier version. I'm just going to be like me. And I was 21, but I looked like I was 17. So I kind of like, I was made to sort of do that. So I put a tape in the day before I started like filming the extra stuff, got it in last minute. And then, yeah, I think 7,000 people applied. I made it to the top 100 and I was like, oh my God. So I got a call back and I went to this place called Cutting Edge in Brisbane. And it was the first time there was like 12 of us lined up and they had like a full professional beta cam and I was shitting myself. I was like, I don't know what to do, but I was like, just be you. And so I did that audition. And then the week later, they're like, hey, we want to see you again. Can we fly to Sydney next week? There's 15 of you coming back. And I was like, free trip to Sydney? And like, that's when it started to get quite real. And then that's after that audition, they basically would call me the next day and were like, we want to offer you Prank Patrol, which is this amazing format from Canada and the UK. Can you move to Melbourne next week? You can't tell anyone what this is about. And they're like, NDA. And so I took that so serious. In hindsight, I could have told my friends.
Yeah.
But so we had a 21st that weekend and we're like 3/4 of the way through fourth year, a semester of uni. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm quitting uni. Going to chase my dream in TV. And they're all like, what? we got exams in like 3 weeks. Like, I'm out. And they're all just like, this guy's lost the plot. But yeah, I moved to Melbourne and that really just set my whole career up.
Yeah, brilliant. Do you know if when you mentioned there was like the show reel,
yeah,
that was the most important thing to do to get into media. What do you think the parallels are for 2025 with show reels?
It's your own content. It's your own YouTube channel. It's your own Instagram, TikTok. It's trying stuff, putting it out there, seeing if it works, but you're doing it now in real time with a real audience, which is incredible.
Better or worse?
It's better and worse because it's better because it's making the content, at a higher level.
Feedback as well.
Yeah, and it's that the barriers to entry are so much lower. Like in my time, but like when I started, it still was about, you had to know the right people to get your show reel seen and to make sure, people from the networks or executives liked you. Now you can go stuff that the audience liked me. And so that's where you're seeing podcasts, where you're seeing YouTubers, seeing any other talent. If they've got the talent, they'll make a career out of it.
Yeah. I was thinking that earlier because I've been doing a bit of content as well. And I put up this reel about DJing and then Afrojack commented on it. And I was like, if I told 18-year-old me that Afrojack was going to be commenting on a random reel, on Instagram, that would be ridiculous. I'm watching this dude playing in Stereosonic on the main stage to like 50,000 people.
Yeah.
Just like randomly commenting on my posts.
It's wild.
It's weird, right?
But it's incredible. At the same time, it's incredible. Then it's nice just not to have that, like to escape for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got such a love-hate with like online content and just producing and constantly having to be on. But at the same time, if you enjoy it and lean into it, it's fine.
Yeah. I've also enjoyed having it as a snapshot in time, like the editing the videos of the life you're having.
Yeah.
And it gives you a bit of a playback of things you've been up to,
which
is better than taking a video on your phone and never looking at it again, because when do you ever look at them again?
Yeah, it's true. I'll probably do a reflection every 6 months now where I'll just like even scroll back through my feed and just see what I've done and what I've been up to.
Or the ex-girlfriend, you're like spiraling.
Dude, so I created this event called Aussie Christmas in LA, and every year, like I might have, like I'm trying to seriously date right now. So I'm like looking for my life partner, but it means you like fully lean into relationships and it's either going to work out and you're going to be there forever or you pull the plug. And so like, it's a bit of heartbreak going back sometimes because there's like old loves that I was like really into and they're part of all the content and you're like, oh.
Yeah. No, I've got that as well, mate.
Every time I got to edit this stuff, I look at like this ex that I loved and I'm like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, I've got that exact same thing in a bunch of the videos. I never look at them again though. Okay. I just exit.
No, I get in there.
Exit, delete, block.
I get stuck into it. Enjoy that for that time period.
For sure. So I want to dig into rebirth and creating new lives after you've done something previously, the reinventing of yourself. So what do you think the best strategies are to reinvent yourself in 2025?
Follow your passion, like always. I think that's...
How do you figure that out though?
Like your idle time in your brain, or when you get excited talking to friends about something and there's like that, they can see the body language and you get this fire in your belly, that's your passion. So whether it's like friends that once again are builders, but then they start talking about rugby league and then they like get really passionate about that. I'm like, there it is. So like you should find something within that world potentially, or that's just their escapism, but that's fine. But like if you know what your passion is, and then you can make a career around that, it's like the perfect life.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's perfect, but it makes it a lot more enjoyable when you're doing long hours. I still, to this day, as a 37-year-old, spend way too much time on edits, but I enjoy the craft of putting out a 1-minute video from my point of view on something and the narrative around it. And it takes me hours. Like I'm up till like 3 a.m. and I'm like, why am I doing this? But it's like what I'm passionate about. So if I enjoy it, that's fine. Yeah. But you get other people that are like, well, you should minimize time you spend on things unless you're making a lot of money out of it. But sometimes with art and like with creativity, I disagree.
Do you think there's a place for everybody to follow their passion in the world though?
Yes and no. I think you've got to have the drive. You've got to back yourself. You've got to be able to face failure and then know how to, if you fail, how to deal with it and then how to rebuild or like how to pivot or how to surround yourself with people that can get you out of that. And I don't think everyone's built for that. I think a lot of people, and I also think a lot of people just enjoy work as this, but then their spare time is fishing or like going on hikes and doing that. And they're not as driven with someone like me and probably you, where like work is part of your life as well. And it's like a lifestyle. So there's different layers to it.
I mean, we have pretty fun lives, to be fair.
It's ridiculous.
It's
ridiculous. And it's also like to the point where I'm like, I swear, people I grew up with, I was like, what is this dude doing now? Like, what is he up to? Particularly like my relationship with music is growing more and more the older I get, which is crazy. But like, I just feel it's such a special place. And like from all walks of life, whether it's dance music, whether it's like, an acoustic set from someone, but like I bloody love music. And I've also figured out that like, I don't need a lot of sleep compared to other people. So I operate really well on like 5 to 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
It's not healthy to do that all the time. And I also have realized the power of not drinking as much. I'm not like completely not drinking, but I don't drink a lot. So I go out into these like concerts and environments and the energy of that's enough for me. And but that's me loving it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same. I don't drink at all.
Yeah. So. It's a good feeling. It's like, and I think a lot of people are cottoning onto that and it's great, but also no judgment. If like people want to do that, cool.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't have a wife and I don't have kids. So I've got this extra time that other people invest in their relationships and their lives that I've got free right now. Well, not free, but I'm putting my time into other areas. So it's a good balance.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about when you are recreating your life. How do you approach it if you've been thrown off, like you've been fired from a job or something? Like we could talk about e-news where you had this whole life switch. You do 3 months and then it just goes and you're like, what the fuck do I do now? So run me through what happened around that time period and how you were able to not spiral and how you were able to pick yourself back up and move on to the next thing effectively and positively.
For me, that was a weird time. So like for my whole career, I was looking at the US and I was like, TV in the US is just another beast. The access to who they have, the production budgets, the audience, that's where I want to be. And so I spent all this time strategically placing myself, meeting the right people, reconnecting with those people, following up over years and years and years. Bang, got the gig, started doing the job. Realized it wasn't that different to what I was doing in Australia, even though like the surrounding was different. And I actually was enjoying the productions more in Australia because there was less people on them, but that meant there was a tighter connection with everyone and the passion for everyone was higher. And so it just was like a reality check that like sometimes you can have this dream or there's like vision of what things are going to be, but it's not that when you get there. So it was tough because like financially as well, you go, if you lose your job, that's income stopping. And you're like, okay, I live like in a very expensive part of the world. Money's going to stop coming in now. Look at the savings you've got and go, all right, what's the game plan here? You get, when you're in Australia and you move over to the US, you get tempted back to Australia there because Australia wants you. It's so weird. They're like, no, we don't want you. As soon as you get a gig overseas, like, come back, do this. But I just already in like 12 months that I'd been in the US realized the people I'd met, and the connections that I met, this was a place for me. This is like, if you're ambitious and you're creative, people will back you more here and you'll back yourself more here. So I was like, I've got to be here. But God, it's going to be hard. And I'm just going to back myself. And I think the real thing that got me out of like trickier scenarios was like the investment in people and the friends that I have around me. They were the ones I lent on when I had to get myself out of that.
So how did you cultivate those relationships moving to a new part of the world so you could have that base? Because that's a really tough thing for people when they've built their friends and a job, etc.
Just organic. I think it's
being a mad dog.
It's just 100% being myself. And like, I just feel when people, no matter who you are, when you're 100% yourself and you also like enjoy doing things for people or watching other people win around you, then you should never expect it back. But then those people will do the same for you. So yeah, I think it's just, for me, it could be a skill. It could just be something that I'm born with. I don't know, but like, I enjoy human connection, and that's my favorite thing. And that with TV, doing content, with doing events, throwing parties, all that sort of stuff, it's just all about human connection. If I can see people enjoying themselves and having fun, that's why I do it.
Yeah, got it. So you've had a pretty innate sense of confidence for a long time in your growing up years and your life, by the sounds of things. So it takes an inbuilt level of appreciation for your skills and the ability to recreate yourself. What was the context of the early years? Like, how was your family structure? Did they help support that confidence, or did you have to build that alone?
Yeah, to an extent. Like mum and dad, I've got two older sisters. I've like, the biggest asset I've ever had in my life is like love from my family. And I know that everyone in the world isn't born into a family that has that abundance of love. So like, to my parents, I like remind them all the time that like, thank you so much for just like what you create as a household. Mum and dad's like love for each other, which doesn't mean it's a perfect marriage ever. And you learn that as well. They've been married for so many years, but that foundation for me is something that no matter what happens, that's there. So it's like, that's the backbone to everything I do. So that's incredible. My sisters were like theater girls and I was very sporty growing up, but then I don't know, I just loved, because I was a younger brother, I'd do anything for like a laugh and anything to like be the class clown and like at home or around friends. And I just enjoyed that energy of like entertaining and like making sure if people can escape whatever like is going on in their life, just to make them have a laugh or enjoy what they're doing. That for me was like addictive. So I think I built up that confidence, but it was more, I don't think it was like confidence. It was just figuring out like I didn't have a lot in terms of like, I created everything for myself. So I was like, and then once I did one thing, I was like, oh, that worked. Let's do something else. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that worked. Let's try this. So I think that's where the confidence of just like getting the runs on the board, backing myself, being smart enough to know when to push and when to like not, walk away from something.
Yeah.
That's a fine line.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. How do you know that? Because I've pushed a lot more than I've walked away, and it's blown up quite a few times now.
Like, give me an example.
Just your gut says one thing, you go against it, it doesn't work, and you're like, I probably could have just saved.
Did you learn from that?
Money. Trust your gut. That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
So by doing those scenarios, then you would never do it again a second time. You would. Okay.
I'm not very smart. I'm a bit slow. So it takes me a few goes before.
I mean, you're an Australian living in New York City, so you're smart because you've figured out how to be here and stay here. It's a very, very hard move.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive city.
It's very expensive.
Very fast moving city as well. So like keep reminding yourself of that.
Feet pics.
You're also, do what you got to do. Feet pics. But like, look at where we're sitting in this beautiful room that you helped like create this room, and we're in the middle of Manhattan. It's wild.
It is kind of wild.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has been luck though, honestly. Like,
no, but you create luck.
You do.
You put yourself and you arm yourself to then be in the right place at the right time. But like, if you're not putting yourself out there, if you're not saying yes to these dinners, he shouted me dinner the other day. So nice of you. Kiki's.
Kiki's so good. Shout out Kiki's.
Yeah, awesome.
Best restaurant.
But like you're putting yourself in scenarios, and like I think sometimes you might feel like you're just pushing too hard and nothing's happening. It is happening.
Yeah.
Might not see it sometimes.
Potentially, I don't know. I'm in my character arc right now. I just bought an e-bike. So I've gone from successful entrepreneur in Australia to blowing that up to moving to New York to buying an e-bike. And the final completion of that character arc will be Uber Eats driving.
Mate, if you need to do Uber Eats driving,
that's where we land.
That's away you go after that.
That's the end point.
Yeah. I mean, I, to be honest, have a lot of chat with the Uber drivers and the Uber Eats people, and like, they're all very focused, but that's just something they've got to get done to get them to the next point they want to go to. And some people actually just like being an Uber Eats driver.
I mean, it's pretty fun to ride around on the bike, maybe.
Listen to music, chill out. I mean, it's pretty dangerous on the roads around here.
Well, I like the e-bike because you can go on the bike lane as well, but you can still go 40 miles an hour if you want to send it.
Yeah.
It's nice little middle ground. Anyway, that is completely digressing from anything we're talking about. The Prank Patrol show, what were some transferable skills that ended up taking you into your other endeavors successfully?
Having to spend 3 whole days with like a 12-year-old and the small talk after day 1.
Give me an example.
Day 2, you're like, so like you go through like what do you want to do when you grow up, and like how's school, and like how's this and that, where are you going on holidays, whatever. Then you're like, oh God. And some of them, it's, I mean, we did 110 episodes.
I watched one with some kid who was on YouTube that was
the dino egg one.
Yeah, the archaeological dig.
Yeah. Little Darcy.
He jumped in
little
on
Darcy. He's like, yeah, I want to get my friend. Oh, it was great. That was the episode that when what you didn't see was they were digging for a dinosaur egg. Digging. And we usually would make them do something because we film it live. Like it's all happening. You can't like fake a prank. You don't get the same reaction. And so you get them really bored. So then when something happens, they're like, whoa. So they're just like digging out in the field for like an hour. And we're like, keep digging, keep them going. And then that's when Darcy knew he was mic'd up doing a prank, obviously. And his friend didn't know. And his friend was like, hey, on the drive home, should we get your dad's phone out and watch some pornies? And Darcy's like, I don't know about that. And he goes, what do you mean you don't know about that? He goes, I think that's a good idea. You can see he's going far out. And he's like, what do you mean it's not a good idea?
When it was mic'd up in their head.
So we're on this control, the control truck, which is hidden around the corner. The control room, with all the feeds of the screens. Losing it. The parents are like, no.
Oh yeah, because the parents are.
I feel bad because I'm like, we're kind of like, we are invading their privacy a little bit. Like filming these guys right now and like they're having a conversation. And just the look of his friends, like, what are you talking about? We do it all the time.
That kid's going to have to deal with that trauma in therapy.
The prank plays out. And then when we're like, yeah, being pranked, you just see him go, oh my God, they know about the pornies.
I saw the face. Yeah, I saw it was like slightly confused, but like not like a funny way.
Yeah. All right, poor kid. Yeah. What was the question?
So the question is, what are the skills that you've learned from that?
Skills? No, the skills I learned from Prank Patrol was that like you have to, when we were filming on location, we kind of had the 3 things that like, you know, don't work with kids, don't work with animals. And there's one more, I can't remember what it is. And they're like, basically we're on live location. So it's like trains and planes going past. We're working with kids that they have an attention span, which is very short. And it's my job to keep them very like into the show and like, so it was exhausting.
So you've been born for short form content, basically.
I was born
trained for this.
I was born for like just being on for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And like being very like aware of like what I'm meant to be doing for a job, but then also keeping energy up. And I've learned about like energy on sets comes from like the talent out. Like when I do Australian Idol now, Ricky Lee and I, we take it upon ourselves to make sure like we're having the best time.
Yeah.
And we're appreciative of everyone's time. Everyone from like the runner to the person cleaning the stage to our directors and camera people. Like if it's infectious. So if you have that energy, and I learned that from a young age being on sets because I was on some other sets where that energy wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. Like no one's having a good time.
What made the difference? So what are some strategies to keep energy up when you're like, we're both pretty cooked today.
Yeah.
So have you got some techniques that help you just get into it?
No, I wish I had this formula, but I think it's just knowing and believing in myself that like, you got this, you can get through this.
Yeah.
And like there'll always be a finish line and then you can relax.
Yeah.
So it's just like show up, don't let other people down, give your best version. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. That makes sense. Yeah, because I think energetically it's quite challenging. With the podcast, it's not on the same level, but you really got to lock in for hours on end and it does drain you after a while. So
for sure. People don't understand that like doing one of the live shows we do, you know, like because we get there at like 12
even
o'clock.
DJing as well. Like it all drains you. At the end of it, you're just kind of like,
because you're stimulated, but you're like not doing a lot, but you're thinking about and taking in like how people are reacting and then what energy you're putting out and like, how's this going to work? Note, pivot, whatever. A deck doesn't work and like all sorts of stuff. So you're on.
2 ex-girlfriends rock up at the same time.
That probably happens in New York more often than not. So yeah. And then so like, there's like, I have these moments where it's like output of a lot of energy and then I need my quiet time where it's just sitting down on my own, chilling.
Yeah.
And that's where I think with my line of work, I have a team that I use for most shows and it's Carla and Eleni. So Eleni does wardrobe, Carla does like hair and makeup.
And they're like an internal team or?
Internal team. So like I've got to the point now, you've made it in TV when you can put in your contract that like you want your team.
Yeah.
And that's like as good as it gets.
Yeah. And then the show pays for your team.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which they've got to pay people anyways, but just to be able to hand select them.
Yeah.
The beauty of those two is not only like they're really close friends of mine, but they'll know when like we should chat and just when to like, I'll go into like mode of like, okay, I'm trying to get my head around, like I've got to talk to this person, interview this person. So they're really good at reading when I just need quiet time and then like when we can be on and playful.
Yeah.
And,
that's good.
And that's like that support you need.
Yeah. Especially in this industry, it's, there's a lot of pressure on you and you need to kind of be on with people when you're talking to them afterwards, beforehand, and then you go to an after party and then next thing you know, you're on the street, you're talking to somebody that might know you and you kind of just need to take it out of you.
But it's good because like once again, I love my job. So it's like, I'm so happy to have that.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good. With just quickly though, I love doing this podcast. If it's positively impacted you in some way and you would like to support us, please subscribe. By subscribing, it allows us to build a much bigger base of listeners, which results in better guests, better production, and a better show overall. Alternatively, please take a look at the affiliate links of the products that I use and love in the comments below and consider purchasing using those links. They'll give you a discount and they'll also provide the podcast a small kickback. These are 2 very easy ways for you to support us as we continue to grow the podcast that we absolutely love doing. Thank you for your support, and now back to the episode. Okay, this is an interesting idea I want to explore. With loving your job, how do you avoid having your identity tied to like the roles that you're doing, especially when, let's just say, you know, you build up to E-News and then it goes away and you're like, oh, who the fuck am I now? Because that's been something I've always, it's struggled. You have to kind of go, oh, who am I without this? Or who am I if this is gone?
Yeah.
Like, what do I actually, like, what are my values in the world? Like, why should people be around me?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm lucky I've only had that window of that unknown identity to myself for a small period.
Yeah.
But like, I know people, it's been much longer than that. And so I get it. And it's tricky. And I think that's where, for me, I pivot to creating things. So I really lent into like the 2nd and 3rd year of the Aussie Christmas event.
Yeah.
Because for me, I was like, well, hang on. We're putting on like $150,000, lunch and party where a lot of people are flying in for it. A lot of influential people are coming. So I kind of made it my identity, but I put my energy into that rather than like just being like, oh my God, what's next? What's going to happen? Yeah. But behind the scenes, I was having meetings with like agents and TV shows in the US and trying to find that next thing and then like auditioning for Idol and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is one of the toughest things, but you've got to, I think, like stay focused to what you're doing And then the hardest thing is like the vulnerability of telling people you're trying to do something, but right now it's not happening.
Do you think that's a good thing to tell people or just keep it to yourself?
I do like, I call it like front of house, back of house. So like I have, if it's like a stage, I'll like reveal some stuff, but then I have a lot going on behind the scenes that I don't think people need to know about, or I want to keep secret because I enjoy it. Like I'm like, no, this is a project until it's ready. I don't want people to know about it.
When do you know when it's ready?
You don't. And that's where it's like recently I've just launched like, it's like a record label, but we're going to be doing a lot of production around throwing like music events and stuff like that, but it'll be like the storytelling of it. So I called it Source Studios and I've been working on it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Still wasn't ready to launch. I just had more things to get done. It was only me working on it to start with. But I was like, this date, I'm doing a soft launch with my friends and family.
That's where you and Ollie played, right? I saw that.
Correct. Yeah. Because I got like this really cool space in the middle of Venice, which is going to be like the hub of it. So if people are traveling through town, musicians, music fans, or locals, they can like pop in. But wasn't ready. Hadn't even finished my branding Bible because I've been such a perfectionist. And I was like, let's just do it. And people can be part of the journey. They can be part of like the watching where things work, where things don't work. Because I think I've always tried to make things too polished. And so now I'm really working hard on like trying to work on the reverse, make it a bit more scrappier, make it a bit more like the honest truth is like, you know, a lot of things I try don't work, but people don't see that. But I'm going to start opening them up to like the world I live in and going, hey, I try a lot of stuff and I creatively am working on a lot of things. 1 in 10 work.
Yeah. Would you call yourself an artist?
I believe so. I believe I would never have until like the last year to 2 years. But I believe even like looking at editing, it is like a blank canvas with digital assets, digital storytelling, a voiceover, pieces to camera, music, and you're putting all those layers together for a product. It's a little bit unfortunate, like the reputation of like influencers and content. And it's become, because there's no barriers to entry anymore. Like to be in TV was a very, you know, seen as a very prestigious job because it was hard to get a job. There wasn't many people in TV. They had a lot of money, high budgets, and big executives decided who goes on TV and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Content, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
You got a camera, you got a camera phone, you can do it. So then it wasn't as prestigious because like anyone can have a go at it. But I still feel like people that like hone their craft and get really good at it, it's absolutely art. It's beautiful to watch.
Definitely an art. Yeah.
And so doing that, and then in the last few years, I had a friend that was like, I know how much time you spend on your edits. And he goes, but I know your relationship with music. You DJ a lot just for fun. You create playlists a lot. You're editing to music a lot. He's like, have you ever tried making a song? And I was like, imposter syndrome. Like, I don't know music. I'm not a musician. And he goes, well, try. And I was like, all right, as a 35-year-old, try a new skill. And then I've started to go into like studios with friends that are very talented producers and musicians. Shout out to Ollie, who's my 24-year-old mentor. And it's incredible to go, hang on, there's this world. And I knew a lot about music, but I just didn't know like the amount of creativity, feelings, and like ideas that you can put into a session. Even if you don't know what to do with the program, you can like articulate it, tell people, and then you start to learn yourself. It's a long journey, but like, man, it's fun. And so like now I'm like looking at shoots that I'm doing going, what music would match those pictures? Like what music would match the scene of doing a party in my backyard in Sydney where we're building an opera house and a harbour bridge. What song could I imagine if I'm walking out to that? And like, okay, let's make it. And then you start making it like, what's this? And I'm like, what's that? And they're like, that's the kick drum. I'm like, yeah, that's sick. Okay. What about this? And like, can we do a noise? And I'll try and like describe the noise. He's like, yeah, do this and do that. Have a compressor here. And now I'm starting to learn the lingo a bit more where things are. And it's awesome.
Well, I mean, Rick Rubin is one of the most famous producers in the world, right? And he doesn't play any instruments.
It's a vibe.
Just in the room vibing.
Yeah.
And directing.
Yeah.
Which when I heard that, because I've been in music for 10 plus years and I've like dabbled in and out of production, but never in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
And I had the exact same thing. It's like, well, if someone else is working with me writing a song, then I'm like a fraud. And then I heard that and it kind of, once that idea and that concept of his experience unlocked, it gave me permission to be like, there's actually a number of ways to contribute to the music world, and it doesn't have to be specifically sitting on a computer by yourself in a room writing music like Deadmau5 or something.
Yeah.
There's ways to do it, and they're all okay. And some people might prefer, some of the purists might prefer one way, and sure, there's some technical value in knowing those details, but if you treat it like a business and you bring in the skill sets that you have and then you hire for the skill sets you don't have.
And for me, I don't even treat it like a business. I treat it as a passion. Yeah. And I was like always following like new passions. For me, I'm very good at the marketing side of things, making noise around things that I do. And so I've got all these talented friends now, they're musicians. And I was like, hey, you're good. More people need to see what you're doing and listen to what you're doing.
Yeah.
I want to bring you into my fold. And in exchange, can we do some sessions together? Like I want to learn what you know. I'm going to teach you what I know. And like, let's work together and like get more people dancing. But you just don't ever go into the comments of any part of the music world, because you get a variety of all different people going like, that's amazing. I mean, a great example right now is the Fisher thing. And you look at how people react to Fisher, his success, like he's such a lovable character. He's worked bloody hard to be where he's at. And now he's got ultimate success. But a lot of people now want to find a reason to be like, well, he doesn't make his songs. Chris Lake does his music and whatever. And like, we don't know behind the scenes how much Fisher's hands on with that. Chris Lake could be making tracks, sending them to him. And then Fisher goes, I like this, change this. No one really knows about that. But everyone's just so quick to be like, you're rich. You're selling out all these places. But at the end of the day, you go to a Fisher show, 99% of the time, you're going to have the best time ever.
Yeah, he's great.
He's an entertainer. He's so fun.
I've met him. Are you guys close? Or do you know
I've met him a few times, but I didn't. Like, if you walk down the street, he wouldn't recognize me. So it's been in passing through Aussies. Yeah,
for sure. So I booked him a bunch of times before he started the Fisher project under his Cut Snake project.
Yeah.
So we hung out a few times. It was like 8 years ago. He probably doesn't remember anymore, but we've had a number of conversations and he's just been grinding away. Like, that's a good point. You don't see, no one knows about the Cut Snake project, but that was 3 to 5 years of him playing shows and working with the other guy. I forget his name.
And he was doing content for so long.
Like, before that he was a
Follow the Fish content. TV was one of the greatest short form content because he's nuts.
Yeah.
As talent, he's about as good as it gets. Like you just watch him go, what is this lunatic going to do next? And that was his skill set. And then into his DJing world, he had that energy. And then famous people in LA loved being around him. They're like, this guy is the best energy ever.
Yeah.
And then with that energy came the partying, and then the partying came the music. And then, it's so good.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to look into the difference between the old media and new media, and what production habits have you learned from TV that have hurt your ability to do effective short form content? And what do you want to actually, what's been a positive skill set you've developed from TV that's helped for short form?
I would never use the word hurt, but time. My attention to detail and how I like a production to look, feel, and the end result takes a lot of time. And I try and outsource that, and they just don't do it the same way that I see it. And so then I end up having to be hands-on and doing more and more revisions, and it's to the point where I'm like, I may as well do this. And so when you're allocating that sort of time, it takes you away from other things. So then that doesn't work in your favor. So that's from where I've come from and like in the TV world. But then the whole way through my TV career, I've been producing online content and short form content. So I actually get parts of the TV show and I think make it even better because I do harder cuts. And it's kind of like my version, because 99% of my friends don't watch the shows, but they'll watch what I upload and then be up to date with what I'm doing. So it's kind of like my recaps of what I do professionally. And they're like, oh, it's amazing.
Is there a point of the long form at all then if everyone's just focusing on the short stuff?
It's for the audience. So like the TV shows at the time, it was kids coming home from school. So they were like escaping from their school day to this, you know. And then the shows I do now, like Australian Idol, it's like families, it's parents, it's people that don't want to watch Married at First Sight, which is also on at the same time, which everyone our age pretty much watches. And so once again, it's escapism. Like they've had their 9 to 5 or they could be blowing up with a partner or whatever. And it's just a moment for them to go, and so that longer form is important and it works really well. And I think a lot of people are so inundated with short form stuff now, which is why they're going back to the YouTube. And like, I love watching half an hour YouTube edits.
Yeah,
it's
same.
just nice. It's like a nice flow to it rather than like, tick tock, tick, here we go. It's like,
yeah, definitely. Wrapping up on the rebranding of yourself and creating a new life in 2025 and beyond, what's your thoughts around how AI is going to impact the media landscape, and what are you doing to use it effectively?
I mean, we're already so deep into it. Hey, so like in design, it's like one whole element. Even in storytelling, even in output of content and the speed they can do it. But I'm still a purist in going like authentic human connection and storytelling human to human and like in real life experiences. The value of that's increasing now.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, we're flooded with this other shit. So then to have the pure artistry, whether it is in like fine arts, music, storytelling, just in real life events, I think it's like, it's assisting that.
Yeah.
So
what's an example?
For me, okay, so I'm with Source Studios.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I want to roll out the beginning content for this? What's my purpose? What am I trying to do? Purpose of Source Studios, bring people together. The easiest way to do that is with music. And that's my passion with music. So what I want to do on the west side of LA, there's really no like live music venues and there's no quality events. They do pop up from time to time. There could be so many more. For the demand and supply, there's so much demand for it, not enough supply. So I found a great venue. It holds about 1,000 people. And before the end of summer, I want to throw one big party and bring like DJs that I know and producers that I know all together. I want to storytell this because I don't know if I'm going to be able to successfully do it or not. So I go into ChatGPT and I was like, let's create a series together. Let's make it a 10-part series. I want it to be like a renovation show, but each episode is going to be 90 seconds long, roughly. I want there to be a problem in every episode. And I want to be able to like solve the problem, but then keep the viewers wanting more for the next episode. So we like solve something, but then create another problem. And that's the end of the episode. And so I use it as like another producer that I'm talking to. And we just like go forward and back. But essentially it's me plugging in my ideas and it's structurally helping me out. And then I'm like, cool, that's good. Don't like that, this, that, whatever else. So I think I use it as a tool. And I think a lot of people are using it as a tool right now. And for me, it's clarity in ideas.
Yeah, I've found that great. There's a lot of things that I've wanted to do for a while that you can kind of flesh out very quickly using AI.
Yeah.
And it's like you're working with someone on it, so it doesn't feel as tedious.
You're working with someone very positive.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm like, even some days I'll be like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? And I'll be like, Can you fire me up right now? I've got 14 years of like TV experience. I'm doing this and this and this. Can you like justify it's a good idea and it's a growing market and I should be chasing this? Bang. I don't know if that's true, what the results are, but I feel so good afterwards.
Gaslight me.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So look, I just wrapping up, I want to jump into some just general philosophical kind of questions about your views on the world and ideas. So what's a view that you have that would make people either scratch their head or potentially get angry?
I just don't personally enjoy the disparity of wealth in the world. And I think, especially after now being in the US, like how
crazy,
how rich some people are, but their drive to go even more blows my mind. And so I don't get that. And I get the greed and the power and like the wanting to feel better than other people. But for me, in my day-to-day life, it's like you don't need a lot. And the LA fires were a real example for me, the first time ever where I've had a wake-up call going, all right, quickly, we've got like an amber, like a red alert to get out of here, pack everything. And I was like, all right, I don't really have anything. There's like a few like sentimental bits of clothing, but like I don't need a lot.
Yeah.
So it's just really hard to see where there's so many problems right now and so many different layers and levels to the world, and they're so easy to solve.
What do you think the solutions are?
It's so easy to solve, but it's really complicated to get there.
So what are they?
And the complexities are basically to change systems, to change and to get people to give up or to slow down what's coming into them and like push it out, and to create like my favorite two subjects at school were economics and geography. And I remember like learning about when you're learning about third world countries and like what's the problems there. And you had to like the solution always was to go into those communities and not pump in money and whatever, but go in there and teach them and give them systems. So then those systems they can then imply and like build out from. And so looking into the world right now, even like America has healthcare problems or climate or wars right now. It's so complex, but then the solution is so simple. And so it's that disconnect there, which I don't have the solution for, because if I did, then I'd be doing it and I'd be like going hard out at it. So it's hard to watch. And then it's if you invest a lot of energy into trying to work on the solution, it becomes really tiring, and it almost like takes away the fulfillment and happiness in your life. So then it's a tricky one, man.
Yeah, it is a tricky
one. How much time do we have? Like
so much time.
Because I do like going down those things, and then sometimes I just have to stop myself and then go, all right, let's keep things really simple. And like, what can I do to make a difference? Well, all I can do is in my close community right now, get people that are struggling, whether it's financially, whether it's, just whatever they want, whatever's going on in their life. My mission is to like grab them and get them to like forget about their phone or life for a second and like be lost in music and that feeling of love and like connection with people. That's my like tiny contribution to what is like so many problems right now.
I mean, everything in the world is a combination of just the individual contributors. So
yeah. But yeah, disparity of wealth is wild. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, my solution to it is just get really rich.
Problem.
That'll solve the problem for me.
Yeah. But a lot of people do that. They just work so hard to then get that wealthy, to then go, well, then I can give some of my wealth now to other people because I've made it. I want to give back.
Well, do you think there's potentially some people are just more inclined and better to be capital allocators than others, and that's just the reality, and luckily for them, the world in its current format rewards those people greatly. And what's the alternative? I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess this is a socialism versus capitalism conversation now, but
this is a different podcast.
Completely different podcast. That's okay. It's a whole episode.
But it's just interesting stuff, and I love hanging out with friends that are a lot smarter than me, and then just like getting like little sound bites from them. Just be like, hey, tell me about this. What's your thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on that? Because
I'm on ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT is my new friend.
It's my only friend.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing over the last 2 years that you've changed your mind on?
I enjoy slowing down a lot more now.
Yeah.
And I enjoy like stillness, and I enjoy, my word for 2025 was steady. So it's just like pulling it all back. The funny thing now, 6 months into the world of steady, is I've carved out more friends or people that are like get disappointed in me and are angry at me because I don't reply to things because I'm
wake up in time.
So slowing down, literally I was half an hour late today.
No, not me, Dan.
Oh, Dan, he's really pissed off at me. But yeah, I've like, and it's particularly in the last month or two, I'm really putting my phone down more and like being present with friends. And I feel like there was a period of like 5 years there where I was just literally trying to chat to anyone and everyone and like blah, 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 and wasn't ever present.
It's a hustle though. It's a hard one, especially in America.
Doing that, I'm pissing a lot more people off because they're like, we can't get onto you. Like you normally write back straight away and I haven't heard from you in a week.
Yeah.
And being pulled up by a lot of friends, and it's tough. But I've now just got to become comfortable with the fact that's going to happen.
Let people down.
That's okay.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not like doing it on purpose to like hurt them. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, people messaging you. I mean, I'm similar. I'm getting better. Like I've slowly stopped caring about having to reply to all my emails and get to inbox zero, and I'm slowly stopping caring about replying to all my DMs. But implied in a message is someone's ask for your time at the end of the day, and you don't have to accept that.
Yeah.
But as a people pleaser, I've been very inclined to want to get back to everyone really quickly. And I think the important things to get back to are you working on a deal, or are you like building, are you focused on building this particular relationship?
Yep.
And time is very important. So I've lost opportunities because I'm too slow to reply, as an example. They're the ones where you probably need to give it, if the conversation's moving, like a good podcast guest, just don't wait. Just get back to them as quickly as possible. You're trying to knock out a deal and you're negotiating, don't wait a week, like just bang, straight back. But everything else kind of doesn't matter that much and can wait. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the realization in the last 2 years as well is like, in a lot of the stuff I do, nothing really matters. It doesn't. It's like, it's not a big deal. And if you've got to move things, shift things, and like change things up, it's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like a lot of people get hung up on so many things that just don't matter.
Yeah.
And so I'm just happy that my internal monologue and the voice inside my head, he's a pretty chilled out guy. And we go, all right, that sucks. Let's be disappointed for 5 minutes, but then let's move on. Doesn't matter.
So what does matter?
I think it's just the authenticity. And I think it's treating people the way you'd want to be treated. And for me, that's it. Like the human connection for me does matter.
Yeah. On the note of human connection, what's an example of a kind gesture, a small kind gesture that someone's done for you that impacted you immensely?
I mean, I get them all the time. I've got so many good people and good friends around me. So it's awesome. It's 1 a.m. I'm in my studio space that I've just, it's taken me 4 years to get this spot in Venice. And I'm having a launch party the next morning or the next day, next afternoon. So it's 1 a.m. And I've got 3 friends there that are helping me put these frames of photos up, which I wanted like a design for, which is like bulldog clips, and then it's like 10 feet high going around. And it just was such a pain in the ass, and it was taking so long, but they were just giving me their time to help a project that I've been working on for so long come to life. So like them offering their precious time and sleep to help me out was like really, really nice.
Yeah. How have you then taken those acts of kindness and applied them in your life?
I think it's, once again, where you can help people out, give people like, my greatest thing is like, the greatest thing I enjoy doing is trying to like boost young Aussies and like pump them up to go, hey, listen, we're a very talented country.
Yeah.
And you can take those skills and bring them to other parts of the world. So like if I can help you or fire you up or motivate you or like get you guys to like go for it, great. And I also love doing that with like younger DJs now as well. Like send me your tracks and I'm like, I try. It's the worst thing when I'm like, send me your tracks and they send it to me and I get busy and it gets lost in my inbox and I never reply.
Yeah.
And 3 months later, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But I was like,
it happens though.
So yeah, I think I've had a lot of people give me these very small moments. And so I try and give back those small moments where I can.
Yeah, nice. So wrapping up, what's one core lesson you'd hope everyone can take from this?
Try to find that inner fire within you and that passion, the fire, and lean into it and just go for it and see what happens. And be so okay with if it doesn't work, and like that your friends and your family and people around you see that it doesn't work is fine.
Yeah.
Because I think the respect you get from those people from actually having a go, and then once you start doing whatever the idea is, whether it's a business, whether it's just like a music group, whether it's a poetry group or a dinner series, I think your friends and your family and those around you, if they see you putting effort and time into something at all, that's infectious. Yeah. And they'll also want to like help you out. Even if it's the shittest thing they've ever seen, they'll still be proud of you for having a crack at something.
Yeah. And you get better.
And I think a lot of people have to realize the time you've put into relationships with people, they will back you. You just got to figure out a way to get them to back you, but they will. And because they love you.
You just got to ask too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And is there anything else that you're excited about at the moment you want to let the listeners in on?
No, just follow. I'm literally starting from 0 followers for Source Studios with like a AA, and I'm going to storytell building it and and try and doco style, renovation show style go, I know this idea is going to work. I don't really know the path to get there, but like I'm going to figure it out. So I'm going to be trying to do that like as authentically as I can in real time. And that's something I'm just excited and passionate about.
Yeah, nice.
And if you're in Venice ever, pop into the studio.
Yeah, great. Yeah. And where can people find you if they're interested?
At, and then Source, SAAUCE Studios, and then also at STWEEDIE. And music project coming up soon.
Hey.
I can't figure out the name. I was going to do just Tweedie, but you know what I don't like about Tweedie is like the font. It just doesn't like TWEEDIE. It doesn't look good. So I think.
What about DJT? Oh, there's already
I'm going to go when I played golf with my granddad when I was like 8 years old. And
it's a great band name, Golf with My Granddad.
Golf with My Granddad, that's what it is. And his old bastard mates are like, oh, how are you? And I'm like, they're like, what's your name? And I'm like, Scott. One of them goes, oh, what? Is your last name No Friends? Scott No Friends? I kind of like Scott No Friends. So Scott No Friends is the holding handle right now for music stuff that I'm going to do. I love throwing little DJ parties though. Yeah. I'm not that passionate to be like, I need to be on a Coachella stage. For me, it's just
bit of
fun crews of people coming together and my taste and curation of music coming to life.
Honestly sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's good times.
The rest of it will even just happen in itself. Who knows? Who knows where these things go?
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Fun. And my last question is, what do you think the meaning of life is? Just to wrap up.
The meaning of life is many chapters of love stories.
Aww.
Professionally, personally, romantically. And I think in between all that, even if it's the most successful businessman in the world, he will be in love with his wealth or his job or a project. So I think it all comes back into that.
Just finding love.
Navigating.
It's always there.
And going in and out of love and going around it. I don't know. I just made this up.
That's cute.
But the more I was saying it, I was like, that actually does make sense.
Yeah. I ask that question at the end of every episode. And I think 60% of people say some form of love related things. So
love of my friends, love of early morning podcasts in New York City.
12 p.m. is early morning in New York City.
So early. Are you kidding me? On a Saturday?
That's wild.
I fly home tomorrow.
Yeah. River. Thank you, Tweedie. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please go to YouTube and search That One Time with Adam Metwally. Click subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. Thanks, brother.
Metwally. Hey.